Hey YouTubers, thanks so much for checking out our video. For those of you that don't know us, I'm Trish.
And I'm Carolina.
We're with Just Dance, and in this series, we're gonna be going over tips to help you improve your posture, frame, technique, musicality, and connection in the common patterns of East Coast swing. And in this video, we're gonna be going over technique and musicality in the underarm turn right. So let's go ahead and get to it.
Okay, so first we're gonna talk about musicality, and we're gonna focus on the us and the ands in swing. I'm leading and Trish is following. We have 1, 2, and 3, a 4, and 5, a 6. I'm gonna do that one more time. Ready? 1, 2, and 3, a 4, and 5, a 6. Okay, so the difference between the and the and is that the is 1/3 of a beat and the and is only half of a beat.
Right, so when we're dancing, the leader is going to be raising the hand or giving signals or leading the turn on the and counts, which are at the end of a whole beat. So we have a little bit more time, and it also allows us to dance in action in between our weight transfers. So for example, on the rock step, on the second beat, after we've taken the step, we have a body action that happens, which is the swing of the hip, the straightening of the leg, and the pendulum swing of the hip that happens. When we do that, at the same time, the leader needs to be prepping by raising the hand to give the follower a signal that they're going to lead something outside of a basic enclosed position. So we have 1, 2, and so by Carolina raising the hand nice and sharp and connecting it with her hip action going back, it allowed me to face her sharply so that I could automatically create a connection with her. So you want to make sure that you're doing that at the end of that second beat, and we want to count it and say and to help us do that. So again, you're going to go 1, 2, and. So when you're practicing, my tip is for you to make sure you're saying that and count, and you're not just going 1, 2, and then not counting it in your head. You need to say and. And then the is our 1/3 of the beat, as she was saying, and we do that on our chassés because our chassés are broken into triplets. So we have 2/3 of a beat on the first step, 1/3 of a beat on the second step, and a full beat on the third. So it's counted 3, 4, 5, 6. But in this pattern in particular, after the 4, we have another and count because Carolina is indicating another action. That's the turn. So again, we have 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6. So that's our musicality for today. The next part we're gonna go into is technique.
Yes, and I'm gonna be talking about the leader. So for the leader to lead this pattern, we really wanna focus on our body action so that we don't end up arm leading our follower, right? And that's a really bad thing. So I'm gonna show, we have our back rock. We're already using our swing hip action right here. Trish talked about it a little bit. And then when we lift the hand right here, we're gonna do our triple step, and then as we lead her to turn, our body is gonna rotate. My left hip is gonna rotate, and this is gonna send her turn. And then I finish my swing hip action with the chassé to the right.
Let's scoot this way and do that
Yes.
one more time.
We'll do it one more time. Ready? 1, 2, and you have your hip right here, twist, and we finish.
Yes, and so that said, when the leader does that, the follower also needs to be focusing on their swing hip action. If we're both doing our swing hip action as we should, I'm just gonna stand like this with Carolina, and we're going to bend our knee and just swing the hip. What's gonna happen is our foot that we're moving onto, that hip will go towards our partner. So as I shift my weight to the left foot, Carolina shifts her weight to her right foot. Our hips of that foot are going to go towards each other first, and then they rotate backwards. That backwards rotating action is what kicks off the lead for this turn. So you want to make sure you're dancing your body so that you have a nice, well-timed connection throughout the pattern. So for the follower, when we do our turn, we have 1, 2, and 3, 4. This hip action starts because Carolina's doing hers, and you're gonna take your right hip backwards, follower. So keep it going back so that you can complete your turn. And then you can finish your chasse. So by myself, I'm gonna help you with your turn. As you take that step, we want to talk about the amount of turn that we're doing. Now there are different variations for this, so I'm going to go over a basic one, and I'm going to place my back to you so you can see it from this angle. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So right here on 4, notice my foot is already starting to turn out a little bit. And I'm doing that because the leader was really good about bringing that hand up early, so I know that a turn is coming, and I'm going to go ahead and create a path by turning my foot out. So at the beginning of that step, my foot's already pointing where I want to go. Now at the end of this count, which is 4, on the and count, I'm going to make more of a rotation. So I'm going to turn, and I'm going to follow through with my right hip. So at the end of the turn, you want to focus on bringing that hip back to help control the turn. Now you have your 5-6, which is your next chasse. And that part of the chasse can continue to come around until you're facing your partner. So my tip is for you to not think you need to get all the way around on your right foot. You can split it into 2 sections. So notice when I dance it with Carolina, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I opened my foot, so I started my turn already. Instead of stepping here, I opened it. So I already made a quarter turn. Now I'm going to make another quarter of a turn, and then all I need to make is another quarter because this full rotation is 3/4 of the way around. So if you split it into that, it makes it less daunting and easier to do to the fast speeds. So let's go ahead and do a quick recap because that was a lot. Starting with musicality.
So you have your us and your ands. Remember, your us are for 1/3 of a beat, and your ands are for 1/2, which is usually what we use to lead a turn or to prep it.
Right, and so that takes us into our actions versus our steps. You want to make sure that when you're stepping, you take your action of turning afterwards and not at the same time. So that's why we say and. 1, 2, action, and. 3, 4, action, which is the and. 5, 6. And that's going to help you with your musicality. And then we went into our technique for the leader.
For the leader, you really want to focus on using your swing, hip, body action, because if you don't, then you're going to start arm leading your follower, and it's going to look a little messy.
And feel messy too.
And feel messy.
Yes. And throw your partner off balance.
Yes.
So a lot of things that can go wrong when you arm lead. And for the followers, you want to focus on breaking your turn into 3 sections if you're a beginner. If you're more advanced, you can go ahead and try to do a bigger amount of turn on your right foot. That's perfectly fine because there are variations. But if you're trying to keep it more simple and keep up with the music, split it into 3 sections and make sure that you're doing your swing hip action throughout to help you with balance and control. All right, so as always, we're gonna dance it a little bit and go through it with a basic in between. Go ahead and join us if you would like. We'll do it 3 times. 5, 6, underarm turn. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6. Basic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5, 6, and basic. 3, 4, 5, 6. Last time. 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6. And that is our underarm turn right in East Coast swing. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments below.
And don't forget to subscribe so that you can get notifications for upcoming videos.
We will see you soon.